Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to get a little bit more work done on my 91 Civic Si. If you've been watching my videos lately, you'd seen a lot of the work has been focused on this car. That's just because I got some parts in that I wanted to install and parts that I've been wanting to buy for this car. And these are the coilovers that I ultimately wanted on this car. These are the Skunk2 Pro-S2 V2s, made exclusively of course for the 8891 Civic and CRX. I also picked up a used set of the R40 lug nuts. These have the rotating seat on the bottom. I think this will be a nice addition just to the wheels and the look of the car overall. Now before attempting to pull the old suspension off, I went ahead and just took a height measurement because I like the way this car sits and I want to make sure I get it similar to that once I get the new coilovers put on. And for any of you that are interested in the same ride height, mine is about 22 and 3/4 inches from the ground to the edge of the fender. And just for anyone that's new to the channel that may be interested in trying to learn how to remove their front suspension, click in the upper right corner. I'll link an old video I have where I changed the suspension on this car a long time ago. It'll give you a complete DIY walkthrough. And here's a look at the old setup I had on there. Here's some Tokico blue shocks. I have an eye-box spring on the front. This is a 2.5 inch inner diameter. It's a 7 inch tall spring, and this one is a 400-pound spring rate. This rear is a Summit Racing spring. It's also a 7 inch tall, 2.5 inch diameter, and this is a 350-pound spring rate. So I had a 400 in the front, 350 in the rear. I used some eBay, here's some of those billet top hats that they have. The reason I have those on there, you're not supposed to use Tokico blues on a lowered vehicle. They're more of an OE replacement shock, but this setup rides phenomenally on this car. Now I don't take it to a track or anything, but it's super fun. It can be really aggressive still, and it handled very, very well with this particular coilover setup and these shocks. If you're wondering why this is cut, that was to lower the sleeve even more, but I didn't really necessarily need it. And these sleeves are just often generic eBay set that I had laying around, and they're perfect for if you're going to set your own combination of spring setup. When I was back here putting on the rear coilovers, I noticed that the Skunk2 exhaust was slightly rubbing on the bracket for the sway bar. So I went ahead and grinded it down just to clear it. You can see where it's rubbing there. I've only driven the car a couple times, so it's not much, but I didn't want to have it keep rubbing on there. So you can see the modification I made there, and I just put some flat black paint over it, just so it doesn't rust where I grinded it down. And here's a look now at the room. I left more than enough for it to bounce around. That way it's not hitting on that sway bar bracket. Now when setting these, I really didn't know how to set the height on them because I didn't know how low or high it would be. Now the rear obviously is sitting a little bit higher than it was before, and the front is a little bit lower. Now this is after me driving it for about 2 miles as well. I'm gonna go ahead and adjust everything now and get it set up to the heights that I'm happy with. To raise and adjust these coilovers, it comes with the included 3 spanner wrenches. These make it very easy to adjust it up and down. And for instance, in the rear here, what I do, I'm leaving the bottom adjustment completely loose. The 2 on top, you need to make sure that both of those are tight together. And then you can use the larger spanner wrench, and you can either crank it one way or the other to raise the coil up and down. And here's a final look at the height adjustment for those coilovers. I got it set up to about 22 3/4 off the ground. The back I think is just a hair higher, but I like the way it looks. And it rides phenomenally. These coilovers feel super sporty. I can drive it as hard as I could before, and it feels a little bit better than the Tokico blues. Those were a little bit less aggressive, and I like the way it feels on here. One feature that I really dig about this coilover is that you can buy replacement shocks directly from Skunk2. It's a great alternative instead of having to replace a whole set of coilovers or trying to find some sort of sleeve coilover and a nice shock. It just makes it easy if that's something you intend to do in the future. And if you're interested in getting a set of these coilovers, they're generally between $580 and $630. If you look around, maybe check towards a holiday, you'll save a lot more money on them. I bought mine on Black Friday They had their sale, plus they had a coupon called First 40. And I ended up paying only $443 for these coilovers shipped. I think that's an excellent deal for the price, and if you're gonna use them like I am, maybe a little bit of daily driving, some spirited driving also, I think they're more than adequate. My buddy in the yellow CRX, the Y49, he has been using these on his track car for the last 4 or 5 years, and he absolutely loves the coilovers. He's quick, his car is fast for what it is, it handles very well, and it gets the job done. He drives it 4 hours from Albuquerque, New Mexico, all the way down to Aquila Flats, New Mexico. So he drives it back and forth home, drives on the track, gets right back in his car, takes off back home. So that's definitely a proven coilover right there, I think, for someone who's interested in this particular style. And so if you're considering getting a set of these coilovers, maybe this video will help you decide to, if that's something that's within your budget and you like the way they look, sound, and perform. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. Go ahead and take a look at some of my decals I have for sale. I'd love for you guys to purchase one, put it on your car, record that clip, and send it to me. We'll see you next time.